343 Industries has just released the newest Inside Infinite update for the month of February, focusing on the environment of Zeta Halo. And this is by far one of the most exciting news drops we've gotten to date on Halo Infinite, and I'm here to break it all down for you. Welcome to the channel, everybody. I'm your boy Patman. If you're new here, consider subscribing if you want to stay absolutely up to date on all the latest happenings in the world of Halo. Now, this update had everything from new gameplay details to new in-game screenshots of actual gameplay to even a few subliminal teases that 343 is throwing out there to get that hype train going. Now, first and foremost, we do know that the next month's update for March will have the audio team being interviewed. This one was, of course, like I said, the environment team. And then in April, we're actually going to be getting a sit down with the PC team to talk about that. So if you're on the PC platform, make sure you guys stay tuned to the channel. Now remember, you guys can go to Twitter and use the hashtag Ask343 to go on ahead and ask questions that 343 might feature in a video in a couple weeks, answering the community's questions about this update blog. Now, while you're on Twitter, go on ahead and give your boy at the Patman Gaming a follow there as well. Now, 3 different people from the environment team were interviewed for this blog post. And the first question that was asked was, so far from the live and sandbox teams, they've shared their insights as far as the vision for the game and their goals of their respective teams' aspects of Halo Infinite. When you and your team set out to accomplish their tasks each day, are there any guiding principles? And the first person answered, they focus on 2 key themes: legacy and simplicity. These 2 things are probably music to a lot of your ears. They really are calling back to the nostalgia factor, with Halo CE playing a major role in a lot of the themes for Halo Infinite, and with modernized graphics, of course. As far as simplicity is concerned, they took the criticism for Halo 5, everything looking too busy and brand new, and they really wanted to tone it back. Now, they also throw around the words spiritual reboot when it comes to talking about Halo Infinite quite a lot in this blog. And we've known that for a while now, that Halo Infinite is really harkening back to what made the series so iconic, but also providing plenty of new stuff to really pave the way for the future of the franchise. Now, something cool to note as you guys take a look at this screenshot right here is that 343 said that it's not enough that there are roads connecting various points of interest in the game. They want to make sure that there's opportunities for things like sick jumps or going off the beaten path and exploring. And the player will be rewarded for the exploration, which we'll get to later in the video. You guys want to stick around for that little teaser I was talking about. Now, something interesting to note about this screenshot is this monorail looking system maybe, or some sort of transportation system that it could be. I actually mentioned this in one of my previous videos about the history of Zeta Halo, that Zeta Halo actually had like a rail system that was used for transport. So that would be really cool to see if there are more ways to get around the ring than just the UNSC or Banished vehicles. Now, when asked what kind of inspirations that 343 were using when it comes to the environmental design of Halo Infinite, not only did they cite harkening back to the Halo CE days, but they actually cited real life. As you guys may know, 343 is located in the Pacific Northwest of America in the Seattle region. So that is really, really beautiful area for forests and mountains and things like that. So they used a lot of that as inspiration for the design of Zeta Halo. Now, they also noted the challenge of making something photorealistic but also having sci-fi looks to it. And the perfect representation of this is the ring superstructure. When you see all those hexagons coming up from the map in Halo Infinite, that is the sci-fi look to it. Meanwhile, you have these beautiful trees and forestation going on, and ponds and lakes and desert that we even seen in the original trailer for the announcement of Halo Infinite. And they noted that they also used this form of inspiration for the world of San Helios in Halo 5, where they actually traveled to the slot canyons of Zion National Park in Utah to really get inspiration for that environment. Now, when mentioning the words spiritual reboot, 343 noted the experience that Combat Evolved tried to deliver almost 20 years ago. But because of the technical limitations at that time, the vision that Bungie had for Halo could not fully come to fruition. Now, we'll touch more on this towards the end of the video when we go into the section I like to call Staten's statement, because Joe Staten does reiterate this very same sentiment later in the blog post, and he is an original member from Bungie who is now working on Halo Infinite as the creative lead. Now, in this next screenshot that you guys are going to see right now, we have a look at a Banished stronghold. Now, this has not been seen before, and it looks very demoralizing going up to it. But something that 343 noted was how many different avenues you guys can get into something like this. And this isn't the only area in the game. This is almost everything in Halo Infinite has multiple ways to tackle certain objectives. You could go in right down that path and go in guns a-blazing on a Warthog with a Marine on the gunner if you would like. Or you could take the sneaky approach and look for an alternate route to really sneak in there and play stealthily. Or you can use the grapple shot to get into one of those sniper towers and work your way down from that elevated position. The possibilities are limitless with this game. And that's something that 343 was really hammering down on in this blog post, was the player choice in the environment. The ways you could tackle any kind of objective, any which way you want. And when I hear this, it really reminds me of something. This game, Zelda Breath of the Wild. It reminds me of that game, one of the best sandbox games of all time, where people could really tackle any kind of objective or location whichever way they wanted, because they had so many different tools at their disposal and they could use the environment to their advantage as well. And no two people had the same playthrough on Breath of the Wild. Hell, even if you replayed Breath of the Wild, your playthrough wouldn't be the same, because it is just that crazy, all the different tools at your disposal. And those are the vibes that I am getting from Halo Infinite, and that excites the hell out of me. And something that's even more exciting is the possibilities in co-op for Halo Infinite. That's what's going to set it apart from games like Breath of the Wild, because when two people put their minds together to tackle certain scenarios and come up with the crazy combinations that this community is capable of, the clips are going to be absolutely astonishing. Even the devs said they can't wait to see what kind of crazy combinations the community comes up with that they never would have thought of. Now, something I was really looking forward to with this update, and they actually did show it, not in video form, but with screenshots, is the day-night cycle on Zeta Halo. It looks absolutely gorgeous. I am loving this. This is something that really is going to change the dynamics of things. Maybe you face the Silent Shadow only at nighttime. If you guys take a look at that elite there, you know, maybe he's somebody who stalks in the night. That would be really cool if there's dynamics to enemies as well as the environment when it comes to a day-night cycle. They also talked about Zeta Halo basically being its own character, which is very true, because Zeta Halo probably has the richest history out of all the Halo rings, especially since it is part of the original array. If you guys have no idea what I'm talking about, I did several videos on the backstory of Zeta Halo. Really interesting stuff, guys. But they said that the ring definitely has its own story to tell. The scars that will be visible on the surface of the ring pay homage to the past battles on Zeta Halo. Meanwhile, the floating chunks of Zeta Halo that are floating in the sky are representative of the more recent events that have happened on this ring. But there are definitely going to be secrets to uncover that relate to the overall story of Halo as a franchise, and we might even see stuff that relates to the story of the past, present, and future of Zeta Halo itself. And you guys will see towards the end of the video one of those secrets that you're probably going to be able to find. I think it's definitely an audio log from Halo Infinite. And with Infinite being a 10-year game or a platform for the future of Halo, I could totally see them using collectibles in the game that you could find to either hint towards future story DLC for Halo Infinite or future standalone games that will tie into Halo Infinite's story. And one of the developers even described Halo Infinite as being Halo Unleashed, because it's all the experiences and the stories you love from Halo presented in a world where you have so much more freedom than you ever have had before. Now, when talking about the grapple shot and how it changes the way you traverse the environment in Halo Infinite and the different kinds of gameplay elements it presents, one of the developers confirmed a huge new piece of gameplay info for Halo Infinite. You could hold up to 3 pieces of equipment at the same time, and you will have a utility that allows you to quickly swap between them. Now, there is a lot of info to go over in this next screenshot. Not only do we get our first look at the sniper rifle in-game from the first-person perspective, we also have a plethora of information here at the bottom right-hand side of this screenshot. Let's start with the grenade. Usually, G keybind on PC is for grenades, so that confirms that that shock grenade that we saw in the July reveal gameplay trailer is definitely a grenade. Some people were thinking it could be an equipment. It is not. It is a grenade, and that is definitely that same grenade from that trailer, as I'll show you guys here. Now, what's even more interesting is that Chief on his left arm does have the grapple shot on there, so he definitely has it equipped. But right next to that grenade indicator in the HUD, you see a Q binding for what is presumably equipment. And that doesn't look like the grapple shot icon that we saw from earlier gameplay screenshots. And you guys can see the little bar underneath indicating which equipment is selected, so you could definitely alternate between equipment. And if you guys take a look at the secondary weapon, it is the Disruptor that was leaked from the Halo Infinite toy line, so that is now confirmed for the game. And here is a screenshot from the Amazon store page from that Halo Infinite toy line showcasing the Disruptor sidearm. And as far as the structure in the background there, that could totally be a Palace of Pain. It looks to be consistent with the towers that we've seen from the promotional material for Halo Infinite so far. Now, when asked what the environmental team was working on in the coming months until the launch of the game this fall, they replied that they are simply working on squashing bugs and also taking into consideration feedback from the internal flights that they've been doing and implementing that feedback into the game. Now, something I am disappointed in that they didn't really talk about, and I expected them to since we were talking with the environmental team in this blog post, was the wildlife. Now, Joe Staten did make a reference in his closing thoughts about showcasing some of the wildlife in some of the screenshots, but to me, nothing new that I saw in the screenshots that we didn't already see wildlife-wise from the gameplay trailer that we got back in July. Now, we still haven't seen actual gameplay of like the deer that we saw in the original Slip Space announcement trailer at E3 those few years back, or those rhinoceros. I'm hoping to see some different kinds of animals, especially the stuff that I saw at the Ring Experience at Halo Outpost Discovery, and there was some really cool stuff there like dinosaurs. I'm hoping to see some of that eventually. They could be keeping those cards close to their chests and really want to surprise us as these months go along. In the closing statement from Joseph Staten, titled "Across a Gap of Stars," he was trying to answer what kind of game is Halo Infinite. So I'm going to read this to you guys and then stick around after that for that little sneak peek at a audio log from Halo Infinite. So he said, as you read this month's update and look at the screenshots, you might have the same question I did when I joined the team last fall. What kind of game is Halo Infinite? Infinite's world is incredibly large, and its vast combat zones connect seamlessly to each other. Its vistas are filled with adventures that entice you to stray from the Golden Path's story missions. From a distance, it might appear that we're building an open world game, but that's not really the case. We're making a Halo game, a sandbox shooter where our goal is to make you feel like the most powerful actor in a rich, emergent sci-fi combat simulation. For example, if you zoom into some of this month's screenshots, you'll catch a glimpse of the wildlife that inhabits the ring. Halo Infinite's campaign doesn't have a crafting system, however, and you won't spend time hunting and skinning animals to make better gear for Master Chief. Spartans wear Mjolnir assault armor. They don't need no leather boots. What you will spend time doing is plummeting from a rocky overlook into the heart of an enemy patrol, eliminating their leader with a well-stuck plasma grenade, using your grapple shot to pull his power weapon off the ground and into your hands, and then empty its magazine into the rest of the patrol, scattering the nearby wildlife back into their burrows. Which is to say, we've designed Halo Infinite so that you're freer than you've ever been to do what Spartan super soldiers do best. Survey a battle space, plan your attack, engage the enemy, deal with whatever surprises the sandbox throws your way, and then rearm for the next battle. What's different this time is that you have more freedom than ever before to choose your own path through the world. Follow a hidden cave system into a well-guarded fortress. Wind your Warthog through a fog-filled mountain pass, capture a Banshee, and fly to a floating ring fragment across a gap of stars. A strong narrative remains at the heart of the Master Chief's adventure, and your journey between story missions is entirely up to you. So then, what kind of game is Halo Infinite? It's the most open and adventure-filled Halo game ever. It's the Halo game we could only dream about making 20 years ago, and we can't wait for you to explore it. Now, I want to know what you guys think about the new format that I'm trying with these news update videos. Not everyone will be like this, but I'm trying to make them a little bit more personable. So maybe these Infinite monthly updates will feature me on camera talking to you guys and trying to incorporate some different editing techniques. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know in the comments down below what you think, or if you just like to see straight gameplay with me talking over it. Thank you guys so much for watching my video. Hope to catch you on either a previous video of mine or a future one. But don't go anywhere just yet. I still have to show you guys this little audio log that they teased in the blog post. Take a listen, and I'll catch you on the next one.
How many now?
16 systems shut down so far. Seemingly random locations. I'm attempting to lock her and the others out of the main...
You will not be able to stop her. She knows more about how this all works than, well, anyone.
Dr. Halsey,
John.
what's the plan?
The plan? Right now, we are in survival mode. Again. Cortana's message has spread across the galaxy. Most sentient AI are siding with her.
Against us?
Yes. But maybe not you. Tell me, John, what was the last thing she said to you?
She said, goodbye.